Oh, hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back, Bruce. With This Is What We Do. Something different today. A Jeep YJ. This one here is a '93 YJ, straight six, fuel injected, stick. Nice little vehicle, but it needs a little attention. And what we're going to be doing is inside here on the floorboard. It's got a couple holes. We're going to do a repair there. We'll show you that. And under the hood, let me get you a little closer. I'll show you what I've done so far. Let me get this thing popped open. Warm out here in West Virginia today. Come on over, take a look. Okay, so far what we've done is we put some heater core hoses on. That's these black hoses right here. The ones that were on there had some abrasions to them where they've been rubbing on things over the years. And we also put a set of spark plugs in. Excuse me, I just bumped into the vehicle. Spark plugs weren't too bad to get to. The only thing I noticed on the back cylinder, which I call number 6, the electrode was eating away pretty good versus the other 5. They looked okay, but it was time to put some new plugs in it. And we've got on order some upper radiator hose, singular, and a lower rad hose. I don't know if I can get you down there. Well, you can't even see it. Too many things in the way. So we've done that. We're going to work on this rust hole. What else we do? Oh, the electric fuel pump in the tank, that was going bad. We already changed that out. That was quite a process. But something different today. Instead of working on the old Dodge truck, it's still here. Hi, Dodge. He says, you forgot about me for a Jeep. Hey, it's still a Mopar. But let me get you around here and we'll show you these rust holes. Open sesame. Okay, so I started working on this the other day a little bit, just kind of cleaning it up. And the holes are really jagged. And basically what I did is I cleaned it back as far as I could to where there was good metal. And that's why I ended up with the odd-shaped holes. The one, I believe, was a drain plug. That's why it's kind of oval. And the other one here, zoom up a little bit. That's why I can zoom. That's just a atypical rust hole. And if I understand with the Jeeps, they do leak. And it's just something that most Jeep owners have just learned to deal with over the years. So we're going to cut out a couple patch panels, show you a quick and easy way to put it in, maybe give you some options there, and let's get started. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I ordered up some sheet metal online from the Jungle store, and this sheet here measures 6 by probably 12. Yeah, 6 by 12. And I just wrote some notes here on my piece of scrap cardboard. I need one patch panel that's 5 by 4.5 inches, and then one that's 5.5 by 5.5. And then what we'll do is we'll take the belt sander here and kind of clean up some of the rough edges. But I'm going to try and cut this out by hand with sheet metal cutters rather than using the plasma cutter, because the plasma cutter, I don't have the rest for it, and it takes a steady hand to cut a nice perfect edge, and my old hands are quaky sometimes. So I'm just going to draw this out and cut it by hand. Okay, so we'll start with the first one, 5 by 4.5. 5. Take our speed square, come up with a nice straight edge. We're just going to strike the whole panel. Okay, so that's our 5. We're going to go this way for our 4.5. You can fall down there if you want to. Well, let's make it look pretty. Let's go this way. 4.5. Okay. And it doesn't have to be exact. We're making it pretty darn close, but it doesn't have to be exact. The idea is when you're done that the patch is big enough to cover what you cut it for. Okay. Let's see if I can find some cutters. Okay, just want to show you a quick thing here. A lot of folks think that these are just sheet metal cutters. Well, They are, but they aren't. For instance, these, if you open up and look inside, the writing's worn away. It says straight. So if you want to do a straight cut, you'd select these yellow handle pair. And let's see here. I have red in here somewhere. Yeah, here's red. And the writing is worn away on red, but I'm thinking that this is for cutting to the left. And then there should be a green pair. And I don't know. I'm not sure if I had a green pair or maybe my my son borrowed them. I blame him for everything. He'll like this on the video. Sorry, buddy. Okay, so anyway, let's get started. Let's try this. We've got extra sheet metal, so if we ruin it, we can always come back and use the electric saw to cut it. So let's just see what happens here. Now this is 20 gauge steel, and it's pretty rigid. It's going to take a little work to get through here. And with cold rolled steel like this, if we get any weird bends, we can just hammer it right out. Hot rolled steel, it's a little softer, a little more malleable, but I picked a metal that would outlast the body. So it's a little thicker. Okay, so I'm going to overcut just a slight, because if you cut it right in the intersect point, you end up with this crazy edge. So I just cut like a 1/16 of an inch more. All right, so there's one. As you can see, it's got a little weird curl to it. Yeah, we're not worried about that. We can make that straight. So just snip this through. Seems to be pretty good metal. It's tough. I don't like using just cheap tin. I mean, I guess some other kind of repair job it would work, but this is good metal here. Kind of reminds me I should invest in a sheet metal shear. Okay, here we go. All right. So there's that. Oh, and for our simple figuring, we said this was 5 by 4.5. So that's just right on here. 5 by 4.5. Okay. So let me go ahead and cut out the next one, which is 5.5 by 5.5. I won't bore you with that one, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so we got our second panel cut. It's not a diamond. It's actually kind of a square / rectangle. 5.5 by 5.5, 5 by 4.5. So what we're going to do now is we'll just start with one at a time, and we'll take this outside to the Jeep, fit it to the floor, just see how close it is. I know it's going to need a little bend to it, and I'm going to take my magic marker and just put some dotted lines where the bend should be. And this will take a bit of time because we're going to form fit this to the floor. Okay, I got you up in here pretty close. So the panel doesn't fit too bad at all, really. It's got a little bend to it, but that's where we were cutting it at. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a couple little dotted lines. And I know it looks crude. That's just where we know the swale of the floorboard starts to curve up. So just put a couple of dotted lines. So let me go back in here and tap this one out a little bit. Come back, see how it fits. Okay, so we've got this one tapped out, and it's pretty flat if you can hear that. It's got a little swale to the middle, but once you put about 2 pounds of pressure on it at the very most, it touches down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come in and just kind of clean up these edges a little bit, because I hate it so square like that. It looks just like a patch, and we can make it look a little nicer than that. So let's try grinding these edges off. Okay, so we're in here with the belt sander. There's no real science to this. You just want to take your time. This sander will be can be rather aggressive if you lean into it too much, and it'll tear up the belt, because this sharp edge you're plowing into it will just cut this belt right out. So we're just going to go nice and slow. Excuse me if it's too noisy. Just want to kind of clean it up here a little bit. Let's do it this way. And a butterfly just landed in here. That's weird. Use this block of wood, kind of stabilize the metal, and it kind of reduce the noise. We'll get up on it pretty close. So let's see what we can do here. I gotta get a little closer than that. If you get the block of wood too far back, it's going to bend the metal when it hits the sandpaper. We don't want to do that. So just round it off ever so little bit. The idea is just get rid of that point, especially when you lay carpet in there on top of it, and you want to snag the carpet. Yeah, I like that better. It's more of a rounded edge. This is kind of like a point with a round edge. Does that make sense? I'm old, but I'm not totally forgetful. All right, so we just take some sandpaper, knock these rough edges down. Not a big deal. Just knock them down. Okay. Thermometer over there is probably 90 in here. So, okay. So let's take this out and test fit it. Okay, we got the panel down in there, did a test fit, and fits really good. So what I'm going to do this time is, because the metal on the underside of the floorboard has a lot of surface rust, I don't feel comfortable in trying to weld that in. I'll probably just blow a bunch of holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here to the drill press, and I'm going to drill a series of holes around the perimeter of that patch, and we're going to pop rivet it in. We'll show you how to do that. Okay, so we got the drill press set up, and the rivets that I'm going to be using, we're not going to weld this time. These are 3/16 pop rivet style, and these are just something I had left over from years ago. I got hundreds of these things, but they're 3/16 in diameter. So what I did is I went on the plate here, excuse my chicken scratch, but I plotted out several 3/16 drill points. So we're going to take the drill press, open these holes up, and then use these as a guide for when we're putting in the rivets. Rather than just drill one and then move this plate around, we're just going to drill them all now. We'll drill the vehicle when we get the plate out there, but we're going to drill these holes now. So here we go. And with sheet metal, it doesn't take much pressure to go through it. Biggest thing you got to watch is keep your fingers out of the way, and don't be too aggressive. Just let the bit ease through. And I have the RPM set down on this bit too. I think it's around 600, 650. I could turn it up higher, but sometimes what happens is when you're drilling, it'll grab the material and just yank it away from you. But it all depends on what you're drilling and how fast you need to turn the bit. For instance, you'll see a lot of guys drilling aluminum, and like let's say with a cordless hand drill, and they'll rev that thing up and they'll be forcing it and pushing, carrying on, and they'll blame the drill or they'll blame the drill bit. And actually what happens is they've got the bit speed so high that it's caused in this case, the aluminum to actually bond to the drill bit and clog it up. Versus if you turned your speed down and drilled slowly, you'd be a lot more successful. And even sometimes when you turn the speed down, like when you're drilling aluminum, it wants to clog the bit. Well, the easiest thing to do is just back off the drill for a couple seconds while it's in the hole. Just back it off. Let that bit cool for just a second. And of course, if you're really on your game, you could use cutting fluid or transmission fluid. Any kind of lubricant like that works really good. You could even use WD, but that'll keep the aluminum from clogging up on the bit also. So there we go. We got our holes drilled. We'll go ahead and get this out here and start putting it in. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to square up our patch. And excuse me if you can't see too good. I can't really get too much closer. Maybe like that. Okay, let's try that. So first thing I'm going to do is I want to put the patch down in here where it's squared up to the hole. And we're going to make a little line, a reference mark. So that if for some reason I bump it, I can always go back to that line. So we'll just take the magic marker and just strike a little line. And then we'll go around this edge, strike a little line. And that'll all be hidden by primer and paint. Okay, so there we go. There's that. Now, next thing we want to do is we'll go ahead and drill just one hole, something to line up from. And I know that might look crooked, but it's just my crooked hands drawing it crooked. So let's put one hole, and I've already looked underneath the vehicle. There's nothing I'm going to drill into, like a fuel line or a coolant line, anything like that. So we're good. And the patch is not supposed to slide around on you. I just did that for effects. All right, let's try this again. Take our rivet, because after we start here, we're going to be putting sealant, down in here. Just make sure our rivet fits through the hole, and it does. Just double check one time that the panel fits. As you can see, this, hope you can see, it's a little tight. That's because drill bits, they typically drill like a lopsided hole. Doesn't sound right, does it? But it's true. You just run your bit through a couple times, chase it, and then she fits good. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just double check one more time. I always check everything before I actually start riveting, and that's just because if something happens, I inadvertently drill crooked, like my line that I made is crooked, but we're still okay. Gives me a point to line up. All right, so that looks good. So now what we're going to do is we'll put some sealant around the opening, and before we finish, we'll have some seam sealer. But this just keeps any outside water from coming in. Just putting the bead all the way around. Not a lot, maybe about half the diameter of a pencil, something like that. And it's going to squish. We want it to squish. Put a little more up in this corner, a little more on this corner, a little bit right here. Yeah, that sounds weird, but it's true. All right. The rivet slid all the way through. You don't want that. Okay. All right. Take our pop rivet tool, and this is a really nice rivet tool here. This is a Marson. I've had this 30 plus years, and it has different bits or chucks you can take out for different size rivets. And there was a little wrench, I think it's in the box, to unscrew these, but I put them in figure tight. That way when I can't find the wrench, I can still get it out. But we're using a larger diameter rivet here, so that's the correct one already in there. And you just pump it out. If you ever used a pop rivet tool before, just pump it out. And it kind of re-grabs the rivet every time you pump it, and then you'll hear a pop, like that. And then the rivet just ejects out of the tool. Throw that in the trash can. All right, I got a few more holes to drill, a few more rivets to put in. Be back in just a moment. Okay, so we got our first patch put in. We're not done yet, but we're just doing a little clean them up. And it didn't come out bad at all. Let me tilt you in there a little bit. Hopefully I don't drop it. Yeah, see, she came out pretty decent. Cool. So what I'm going to do now is just to kind of, clean this thing up. A little bit of brake clean on a rag to get that black magic marker off there. And you'll see how that'll clean up nice. Just kind of go around here. Just clean it up, but as you can see, it came out pretty nice. So I'll go ahead and work on the next one, and won't bore you with that one. And then we'll come back here in a few minutes. We'll go underneath the Jeep, and I'll show you how we're going to protect that. Okay, we're back. We got the second patch panel put in. Excuse my finger. And came out pretty good. There's sealant underneath that patch also. You'll notice the left-hand corner, there's what looks like a couple rivets missing. Well, that's because there's nothing there to rivet to. But now we've spanned over it with some new steel. It should be good to go. And I'll have to get with the customer. He just has the one drain hole. He might want another hole somewhere, and if he does, we'll open one up and then provide him with a drain plug if he wants that. But let me show you what's going on underneath here. We're going to get some undercoat spray. And didn't come out too bad. Like I say, I cleaned all the way back to where there was good metal the best I could. And over here, you can see how the frame kind of is tucked back in there. So we're gonna spray all this area in here, make it look nice, and then wipe down that top side one more time, and put some prime on that. We also have some seam sealer. We'll actually seam seal it before we prime it, but I'll show you that. Okay, so we went ahead and put on one coat of undercoat, and it came out pretty good. Went all the way up here underneath the floorboard, put some spray on. There's a little piece right there I could probably spray some more on. But like I say, this is just one coat, and it's sealed up pretty good. We'll let that dry for a few minutes and give it another coat, and we should be done underneath the vehicle. Not too bad. Okay, it's been a couple hours, and we've put the seam sealer on, and it's set up, and then we did our final prime job to it, and it didn't come out too bad. That seam sealer is really sticky, and I'm just using a latex glove over my hands, moving it around, and it's AC Delco brand, so it's good stuff. So I'm gonna call that good. So there you go, holes patched. Well, hopefully today's video was helpful to you. As always, please hit like and subscribe if you so choose. And hope you enjoy doing your projects at home as much as we do here, because this is what we do. Take care. Have a great weekend.